Welcome back to Time Freedom Daily. This is your spot for your dose of business building, motivation, investo news, and everything in between to help get to that goal of time and financial freedom. So, Chris, it's been a few days. How you doing, brother?
It has. I'm good. I'm good. I didn't want people to think we're disappearing because the market's been red for a couple of days. We got life going on, and you've had a busy couple of days. I've had a busy couple of days, so here we are, and we wanted to just come on and kind of calm everybody down and let y'all know what John and I are thinking about this crazy market, because it's been crazy since last weekend, really.
Absolutely.
Almost since Black Friday.
Pretty much. And you know what? These cool off periods are needed. If you look back to the cycles previously, you're going to see 5 to 7 large corrections. And, this isn't, let's call it a 20-some% correction, 22% dip or correction or cool off period. It's recovered slightly, but going to go sideways for a little bit. And, it can't go up, straight up, because if that happens, it's going to go straight down. So
Right.
these ebbs and flows to the market are what is needed. And again, we always say this, not us, not something that we coined the term, but when in doubt, zoom out. And you're going to see it's just what happens. And, it's called capitulation. And you'll have, the weak-handed people. And again, some of the data that we're seeing is that 79% of the people that had sold and caused this dip have only held their Bitcoin for 45 days or less. And, it just shows you that people are either, they hear it from their neighbor, they hear it from their friends, and they're all excited. And when they see these 20% drops, they're like, oh my gosh, this is my life savings. I need to get out. And then they're scared to get back in. And, we're going to go over the market, but, we're going to touch on one of the first stories I want to share with you guys what the smart money's doing. It's probably going to blow you away. But why don't we, let's go over the market real quick. Pull up my chart and let's go into.
You want me to share my screen? You're looking a little jittery. Might be easier if I pull up mine.
Sure.
Let me
stop sharing then and just pull up yours.
Yeah, I think you get a clearer stream when I share.
Gotcha. Yeah, could you pull up live coin watch for me? It's hard for me to read the coin market cap on yours.
Coin watch, there it is.
Awesome. So yeah, we've got a market cap that's down again, a cool off period. We're at $2.4 trillion, and we were approaching that 3 trillion, and we kept getting rejected. We were trying to find support above 3 trillion, but we didn't. And but again, volume is kind of low. Bitcoin dominance is way down. Ethereum is up, and you're going to see over the last 24 hours that Ethereum is up. Bitcoin is down slightly. And, I feel personally that in this market and also in the future, we're going to see more growth in Ethereum. This is not financial advice. This is not any investment advice. But I personally feel because of the network effect, okay, you want to be safe. Bitcoin is your safe play. There's only 21 million ever going to be created. We've got about 18 million, 0.5 right now. There are probably 5 million that are gone forever in old hard drives that, they didn't have platforms like they do now, and they're gone. And no one's ever going to be able to get them back. But what's happening in Ethereum and other layer ones that things are built on top of is you have this network effect. And they talk about Metcalfe's law. And Raoul Pal is one of the kind of financial leaders and YouTube. It's not even YouTube guy. He's just a financial guy that's really into crypto now. And Ethereum is his number one holding. And he knows it's because of the network effect, the Metcalfe's law, to where as your network grows, the usage exponentially grows with it. Bitcoin doesn't have that because it doesn't have a network built on top of it. It has adoption. It's got governments and institutions and pensions and all stuff like that, but they're also buying Ethereum. And Ethereum also has the programs, the dApps that are built on top of it that require their token to operate. So the more things that are built on top of it, the stronger it gets and the larger it grows. And Ethereum has these updates that are happening called EIPs that happen that identify what the problems are and how they can affect long-term usage and how to correct them. So there's constant updates going on where Bitcoin may have an update every 4 years. We just had the Taproot upgrade. We had one before in 2017. And so you don't have a whole lot of growth on top of the platform in which Ethereum and other layer ones have. So again, me personally, that's why I feel that we're going to see a larger percentage of growth through this market and also future markets in Ethereum for that very reason. So we probably will never see a price go above what Bitcoin is at any particular point. But if you look at the next item over, it's called market cap. I believe we're going to see maybe this cycle, definitely the next one, that Ethereum's market cap eclipse that of Bitcoin's market cap. And, again, speculation totally, but what Metcalfe Laws says is that what's going to happen. So, again, a lot of red out there over the last 24 hours, but there are some bigger gainers. We've got some of the layer ones, some of the DEXs, but again, right now we're in a cool off period. And again, it's okay, right? It's okay. So, think about, I can't even imagine what would happen if after the 50% loss we had back in May, if I would have sold.
Right.
I mean, we've already come back all the way. We've gone above and set new all-time highs. We've pulled back a little bit. Again, so it's a higher low when you spread it all out. And then you've got the next leg up. Once this cool off, once everybody capitulated, once the fear kind of goes away. But what I want to dive right into, Chris, is I do want to share my screen real quick. I want to just talk about what the whales are doing. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Where is that? I got to exit this here. There we go. Go to screen 2, allow, and let me pull up this. So, what happened with the dip? The smart money, the whales, they scooped up all of the Bitcoin that was sold by the weak hands that were scared out of their position by a 20% gain. So if you can see here, 67,000 Bitcoin were bought up during this dip. They call it a crash, but it really isn't a crash. A crash is 40, 50%, right? A dip or correction, 15, 25%, right? It's a cool off period, right? Those 67,000 Bitcoin are worth $3.5 billion in a week. So it's not like it's going away. It's not like everybody's like, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, we're out of here. No, the smart money, the people that truly believe in the future, they know there's only 21 million and probably closer to 16 or 17 million that are actually going to be available long term. They're trying to scoop up as much as they possibly can. I want to say the biggest whale out there, and I don't know if it's in this report, but the biggest whale himself or herself or whoever it is, we don't think it's an institution just from the way that they're buying, because a lot of times institutions will go ahead and sell close to the top and then buy back in. This one is this particular whale is just accumulating. I want to say this particular whale bought over 1,500 Bitcoin themselves. And it's amazing. They have billions of dollars in Bitcoin at the current value, and they know where it's going just because of supply and demand and adoption, where it's going in the future. So we have Canada that dropped the spot ETF, which is based on the actual asset. The U.S. has not approved that yet. It's going to be sometime soon. Australia has also, and I'm going to get into that in a bit, but I just wanted to show you that the Bitcoin are not just sitting out there. They're not just on platforms, because people got scared and nobody wants them anymore. They are getting scooped up as fast as they're put on platforms. And Glassnode, which is one of the people we follow, and they don't have this clip up right now, but the Bitcoin and Ethereum pool that's out there is continuously getting lower and lower every single week. So, Chris, what do you got to add to that?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. I saw those articles as well. Even Michael Saylor just loaded up more. Michael Saylor's, one of the top financial guys in the U.S. and he just bought at 47,000. These guys, they don't make mistakes very often. And if they still believe there is value in this at 47,000, then listen to them. You're very, yeah, I love what you said there. And unfortunately, this is the game that we have to play. It's because these whales, this is what they're doing now. They try and I was listening to a podcast the other day talking about, when we miss a buying opportunity, right after Black Friday, it dipped down to like 44,000. When we miss that, so sorry, you missed it. When the whales miss it, they have buddies that are other whales. They can make it happen again. They can be like, listen, I missed that 44. Can one of you guys dump the market a little bit tonight? Mix it with a little bit of FUD, which is fear and uncertainty and doubt in the news. They drop it back down there, buy it all up again, and then let it go. And so these are the games that we got to play, and it's important to remember that and not get scared when you see these big dips when there's really no reason to. There are some reasons, and I'm going to go into that in a minute to take profit and be aware of your position. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but kind of like what John said is, when the whales and these whales, whether they're institutions or individual people are buying, then there's a reason they still see value right up until the 50,000 mark, and even above that.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, I'm a hodler. I don't necessarily take profits, but I'll tell you something that I did do. And again, I try to put my money where my mouth is. And just last week, I actually exchanged or converted some of my Bitcoin holdings into Ethereum. And it's not necessarily a long term. I definitely want to have that Bitcoin there. But for now, because I believe that the growth of Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be more like this. And it's not, I just think the percentage of growth in Ethereum is going to be greater than it is for Bitcoin now. So I'm trying to capture more profits or more gains. And again, Chris and I and many crypto enthusiasts out there, we have what's called an exit strategy. And, we're just trying to play what's happening. When we start seeing the whales dump, that's when we know that we have to change or move out of our positions, because they hold so much of the liquidity. If they dump that onto the market, we know that we're going to see a drastic price drop like we did at the end of the last cycle. When the whales started dumping, and they didn't have all of these charts and websites now like Glassnode and stuff like that back in 2017. So before they knew it, it was too late. Now we've got analysts out there that are following all this information. And once we find that information, which is, it's very, very time sensitive, we're going to share that with you guys. And we're going to move to what's called stable coins. And that way we can lock in our profits before the majority of the market dumps. So for now, because I feel so strongly about Ethereum and some of the other layer ones, that's where most of my money is going now. It's not that I don't love BTC. That is my long-term play. And once we see that dip and we see a good buying opportunity, that's when we'll move those stable coins back into the coins that we really love. And the coins we might love in 4 years may not be some of the coins we love right now. Right. So that flexibility of getting into those stable coins is what's allow us to make those decisions. But I do know that Ethereum and I do know that Bitcoin absolutely will be the two that I'm going to be looking at first, and then we'll figure out what other projects we want to get into. So what are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I'm slightly different, and I was going to bring this up as a little bit of a hedge against the bet. Bitcoin is what you hear every day in the news, and it is getting a lot of manipulation, which, like we just said, it's whales, it's these games. There's some countries that aren't happy with the other countries buying in. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with Bitcoin. If you play it right, you're along for a ride, whether that is, hopefully to the upside. But kind of like we saw, the market rarely does what it's supposed to do. If you believe that there's a schedule and it's supposed to happen on this date, sometimes it's not going to happen because the whales see you believing, and there's a lot of talk right now that so many of these analysts thought that it was going to hit 90,000 in November and whatever is going to hit in December. That's why it didn't happen, because the whales are, they see this, they see social media, they see the personalities and the analysts with 1 million followers telling people, everybody, like, well, it's going to be 85,000 in November. These whales can say, oh yeah, hold my beer, and they can affect it just because they know the masses are expecting that. So
let me interject. A lot of things are, not to interrupt you, Chris, but what they're seeing, and just so people know, is leverage trading. They can see how many people are leveraged for the future of the price going up for Bitcoin. And what they do is they start dumping a little bit, which starts to liquidate the next person that has their stop loss or whatever they have, or maybe they don't even have a stop loss. So they get liquidated. So whatever they were betting that it was going to go up, they see this. So long story short, $2.2 billion worth of Bitcoin were liquidated last week.
Yep.
And look, 3.5 billion were scooped up by the whales. Sorry, Chris, I just wanted to just add that in there.
No, you're right. And that is one of the that's how easy it is they can move the market. And we've seen it a couple times. We saw it Black Friday. We've seen it a couple times over the last couple of days, and sometimes they will do this in conjunction with a small story. There was this scare about the new variant. We won't go into that, but they'll take that opportunity. They'll mix it with a little dump. All of a sudden, now it's a huge dump. But what I wanted to bring up over here on the right, there's a lot of stuff in the green, and this is kind of what John is talking about. There's Bitcoin at the top. There's Ethereum. These are just some of the coins that I watch and I do analysis on every day. It's important to, don't put your blinders on. And there's a lot of people that think Bitcoin is the only way. And Bitcoin's great. Sure, it's the only way for some people, but there are other ways. And diversifying your basket in here into some of these other coins and understanding why there is value there. Bitcoin, we know why there's value. Bitcoin's Bitcoin. But understanding what some of these layer twos or other layer ones really, where they're headed and why their value is. So John, do you want to bring up the portfolio you're building? Because there are some amazing coins. Like there's AMP is up 15% today, in a market that is still slightly red. So there are some other amazing opportunities here.
I do, but one thing I want to bring up real quick is just a real quick story here is Australia. Okay, Australia wants to be a leader in the crypto space. They are now putting together crypto reform, which reform is not a negative thing, right? It means that it's being adopted. It means that they embrace it and they want to regulate it, just like the stock market, just like anything. Australia launched their first Bitcoin ETF. Spot, which means the asset is now being tracked and you can purchase that without buying the actual asset. But it's important to know that it is countries. It's not just Chris and I that are out here saying, oh, go buy Bitcoin or go buy crypto. Countries, right? I'm not going to bring up the story, but I'm just going to tell you real quickly. El Salvador again bought the dip.
Yep.
They added more Bitcoin to their treasury. And it's because they know where it's at. What really stinks is that, and again, this is just my opinion, we have senators and congressmen and House representatives that have been in for 20 or 30 years. They're 70 to 80 years old, and they have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. And honestly, some of them don't even care what's going to happen in the next 20 years. They don't care. We've got governments that are younger. They've got newer blood. They've got minds that are open to new things instead of just protecting what is old. And, that is one of the flaws that we have in our in our government. And I hate to say it, but I love the U.S. I don't think I want to live anywhere else. But there's just some things that are just so backwards and so outdated and so unreasonable that it makes me angry to see countries like Australia and El Salvador setting the pace when it should be the U.S. We should be the country that sets the pace for everything else. And it blows my mind that that's what happens. So, it's I struggle with it, and I apologize, if I'm
there is
making
a
some other
lot
people
of
mad out there.
old money here. There's a lot of old money here.
It is an absolute travesty in what the government is doing to hold us back into the financial cartels and all the people that have money out there. So, so go ahead and let's bring up my screen again here. I've got my we're going to be doing this every Wednesday. Okay. We're going to show you the power of dollar cost averaging. Okay. I'm going to do this with crypto, and I'm hoping doing this we're going to be tracking the same portfolio for the next 5 to 6 years. And let's just see where it goes. Right. Today I invested $1,000. Well, 1,001. There were some fees in there, and because of the fees, the total value is actually down. So actually, the fees were like $40 or $50. So we're actually up since I made. And the way I put together this portfolio, and again, this is something that if you want to put $1,000 into, this is how I did it, and this is why I did what I did. So again, not financial advice. This is not investment advice. This is just two guys' opinions. And how I broke it up, again, I am most heavy on Ethereum. I got, out of the $1,000, I put $400 into Ethereum. And again, it's because I believe it is going to grow faster. Not that it's better, it's going to grow faster than Bitcoin. And again, this is me diversified. Now, we're going to be adding probably more projects every week. So when we say dollar cost averaging, it means not only adding more into the current projects that we're in, but also potentially adding new ones in as our dollars. And what we're going to do is we're going to do about $100 every Wednesday. So you're going to see us come in, we're going to put another $100 in, and you're going to see the portfolio change and how it grows and where our performance is. So you can see this over time and how we're doing it. So I wish we started this earlier, but it is what it is. We're going to start now, but I still believe in the power of dollar cost averaging. And we may see the portfolio down after a year, but then as it comes back up, we may see it grow again. But again, we're going to go from there. So I ended up putting another $300 in Bitcoin. Again, I believe it should be a foundational coin into any portfolio. Then I put $100 in each Solana and Avalanche. These are probably, besides Ethereum, two of the top layer one projects out there. And a layer one is, again, similar to Ethereum, that projects can be built on top of, right? Bitcoin can be built on top of, but it's not built to be proficient in a way that it can handle a lot of transactions per second, which is called TPS. And, does it get bogged down? Is there a lot of fees? Now, right now, Ethereum does have high fees, but that hopefully will be corrected as the new updates come through. And now Ethereum right now is actually deflationary, just like Bitcoin, because of the burn on every transaction. Percentage of every transaction is burned, and it goes into thin air and it goes away, so that the total value or the total circulating supply of the asset, it reduces. So Solana and AVAX, I believe, are the technology and the network effect are probably two of the top right now. Some people will say that my number 5 holding, Polkadot or Dot, is up there as well, which I believe it is. So I put $50 of Dot or Polkadot in there as well. Again, another layer one. And then I believe strongly in the long-term growth of the metaverse. I believe this could be a $10 trillion market with gaming, with virtual reality, with all kinds of things. They're selling land. Just right now I want to say it was Decentraland. It was like $140 million worth of virtual land was sold last month alone. Blows my mind, right? So I put $25 into Decentraland, which is Mana, which is, again, it's a virtual, a metaverse play. And then I also put $25 in the Sandbox, which is another very, very strong metaverse play. So again, I've got Bitcoin, I've got 4 layer ones, and I've got some metaverse plays. So there are definitely some projects that I definitely want to give honorable mention that may have been added. But again, I only had $1,000 to work with this week. And again, it may come in next week. I may do all $100 into one project, or I may split it up. But honorable mention will be Polygon, which is an amazing layer 2. It's also / layer 1. There's projects being built on top of it, but it actually reduces the cost of all the Ethereum fees and makes everything to work on top of Ethereum much cheaper. Another one that I excluded that probably are very, very surprising to many is Cardano. Cardano needs some help right now. They launched the Sunday swap DEX. It's not super live yet, so there's not a whole lot of liquidity being put into it. But I think once that moves and starts moving again, and again, if you're looking at Cardano and you'll love the project, which I do, and I own it personally in my other portfolio, my main portfolio, now may be a good time to get in. Again, just an opinion, not financial advice. As the price is depressed, we could see some more retracement, or if this DEX pops, we could see it jump. So there's many projects out there that I probably personally am in probably about 18 different projects. But again, I wanted to show you some of the main projects, why they're the main projects, why they have traction, and why I invested in them. And again, we're gonna revisit this every Wednesday. Chris, what do you got to add?
Love that. I love it. That's kind of what we do. So I love that we're showing people. But just to kind of wrap things up, wanted to give you guys some advice about some of the stuff that I look at every day, and I'm going to give you just a little glimpse, of kind of what I look at. And I look at a lot of the big news sources. John and I both follow a lot of the same, like the biggest other YouTubers, that talk about the news. And it's crazy because on some sites, and these are very reputable sites, they will be talking about, Bitcoin rebounds, like super, super amazing good news stuff. Dogecoin and Ether rank. Look, Dogecoin was the 4th most popular news on Google in 21, both globally and in the United States. Like huge news of adoption, but then you go right to another website and it's is Bitcoin's recovery in danger. So we're constantly seeing, these really great stories and really terrible stories, and the moral of the story is, and it's funny because John and I follow some analysts that have 7, 8 figures on the line. And in this latest crash, a couple of them were very transparent and said that they got liquidated. They lost 7 figures on a Saturday. And so as much as we all like to predict and believe we know where stuff is headed, sometimes you don't. You never really know what news is going to come out tomorrow. It could be amazing, and it happens. Bitcoin, can print a $10,000 candle in a day. And that candle can be green or red. So don't forget to take profits on the way up, and don't go all in. 100% of your finances should not be riding on an educated bet, an educated guess. And we all try and be as educated as possible. But, like we said, we never know what the news is going to do, and we don't know what the whales are going to do tomorrow. And so leave yourself, and I got to get better at this too, leave yourself some cash on the side. So when there is that dip, you can buy it. When Bitcoin dipped down to below 45, that's when you buy. Or Cardano, like Cardano's down to $1.40 right now. 2 weeks ago was trying to stay around $2. And so having cash on the side, this is why, so you can kind of do what the whales do and buy when it's down. So that's my 2 cents to wrap things up.
Yeah, so I just want to add one more thing, and it's kind of funny. So we talk about meme coins, right? We talk Doge, Shiba. The 2 dips, the 2 of the previous dips, do you know what the indicator was for them to top out? Meme coins. Doge topping out at 70 cents. What happened right after? The market crashed 50%. When Shiba popped and got to its highest amount. What happened within the next 2 weeks? Market dipped. So when you start hearing all your friends and family start talking about these meme coins and not real coins like these that we talk about, that may not be the right time to get in. Just my 2 cents as well. So with that, that's all I got for today.
That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And we should have mentioned this earlier, but if you like the stream, like the stream. Give us a like, give us a share. Really helps us out and helps the algorithm out and helps more people see this news. So thank you guys, and we will be back. We'll be back soon.